On the night of January 8th, David Whitaker was walking home. He was 100 feet away from his house when suddenly he vanished. 2 days went by and still nobody heard from him. He was found at the same place where he was kidnapped, laying down in the shape of a cross with a divot in his chest. This would have been a peculiar murder, but the Chester, New York Police Department has seen this murder 7 times before, in the last 3 years.
So give me reason to prove me wrong, to wash this memory clean. Let the thoughts cross the distance in your eyes. Give me reason to fill this hole, connect the space between. Let it be enough to reach the truth that lies across this new divide.
David Whitaker was my brother. The police report that I got said that he was brutally tortured and murdered with a sharp instrument, probably a saw. It had his heart taken out, and dumped back at the scene of the kidnapping. I just don't know how anyone could do that to someone like my brother. He was a straight A student, planned on being an anesthesiologist. He was going to benefit the world, and his life was taken from him abruptly for no reason. I have never hated anyone more than I hate whoever did this to my brother.
David Whitaker's body was taken to Chester, New York Police Department to have an autopsy done. After I went back to the crime scene for further examination, I noticed there were 2 splotches of blood that were most noticeable. And then I also found multiple boot prints. The boot print was from your basic Timberland, so there was too much variety to narrow it down to one person. But after further examination of the blood, we found that it was B positive and AB negative.
There was essentially 4 pieces of evidence at the crime scene. There was the blood, there was the boot prints, there was the hole that was cut in the victim's chest, and then there was the note left by the body.
Once again, there was a note next to their head saying, "The devil welcomes another."
The suspect received his nickname, the Devil's Escort, primarily because of the notes that he would always leave that said, "The devil welcomes another," symbolizing his belief that the devil would always receive everyone that he killed. And also, this nickname came about because of the way that he treated his victims, putting them in the shape of a cross, which is usually symbolic of some sort of religious belief, and also the fact that he would cut the hearts out of his victims. And we believe that, in his mind, he was taking their souls out. The blood, well, there was actually 2 spots of blood, one containing blood type B positive, which was the victim's blood type, and then another containing 2 sets of B positive and AB negative. So we're guessing that the suspect's blood type was AB negative, and it mixed with the B positive blood type from the victim's blood, and it clotted because they were incompatible. This discovery was tremendous because now we had the suspect's blood type. The snow made it very difficult to measure the diameter and the angle of the blood drops, but we calculated that since there was only 2 little drops, they probably fell at about a 90-degree angle when the suspect was taking the victim back to the location of the kidnapping.
After the autopsy was done, it was revealed that the divot in the chest was caused by a dovetailed saw. So we went to that local hardware store and checked the records to see if there was anyone that bought one in at least the past 3 years.
The suspect had bought their dovetail saw with a credit card, so they had to sign for it, and Ace Hardware had made copies of pretty much all their receipts.
We had 4 possible suspects, but we knew we had our guy after the first one because his signature matched the one on the notes that were written. That gave us enough evidence to investigate Kenneth Moxley's home. When I entered the home and did some investigation, I noticed that the basement door was open and the light was on. So I went down the stairs and I noticed as soon as I went down there was a body laying on a table.
You alright?
I rushed over to it, and then a few seconds later, Kenneth turned the corner and tried to attack me. Luckily, I was able to disarm him and put him under arrest. The 9th would-be murder victim was saved by Detective Carl Jones.
Well, I was walking home from school, and that day I had stayed after for forensic science. I was on my way home, and I was grabbed and thrown to the ground, and I blacked out. I woke up a couple times later, and I didn't know where I was. He just knocked me out after that. I was sure I was gonna die. After he was placed in custody, we were able to interrogate him and get a solid confession from him.
This is what I do. I kill people. Some people play video games. Other people watch movies. I remove the lives from others' bodies. And it makes me feel so powerful. The feeling of knowing that you are in power, you are in control of when that soul leaves its owner, is unlike any other.
Moxley could not talk his way out of this, and he didn't try. Kenneth Moxley was arrested and convicted of abduction, torture, and murder of 8 people. He was then sentenced to 118 years in prison without parole.
Well, the murderer was my neighbor, and I really didn't know him that well.
He just looked like a creeper and he kept to himself a lot.
Little did he know, his neighbor would turn out to be a mass murderer. Funny little world we live in. I have no sympathy for him. Kenneth Moxley is the devil. I don't know why they call him the devil's escort. He needs to be called just the devil. And that's it. He's gonna rot in jail. I think everyone at the Chester, New York Forensics Lab and Police Department can breathe a sigh of relief now, knowing that the devil's escort will never haunt us again.
Moxley used to stalk and abduct victims. Now he will spend the rest of his life in prison.
Himself.
Can you handle it, Phil? Or am I gonna have to like say it on the side of the camera and make it look like you're saying?
And I was thrown to the ground and blacked out.
Where's the other off switch?
Oh, switch! What switch? It's a
And it's these.
What did you say? On it's Steez. Can I just pick up this piece of wood and hit you with it? How's that donut, Jordan?
On a scale of 9 to spaghetti, I'd say Morgan Freeman. Do the math.